It's pretty good so far.
Yeah, not bad.
Great.
4 people online.
Well, I can tell you.
Very lovely.
Sometimes.
Okay, looks like we're ready to get started. I just want to thank you all for showing up and being here today. We're very excited to talk to you about our project, Reimagine Ferry Wharf. So yeah. First, we'd like to acknowledge that we're currently located in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we are all Treaty people. So for today, I'm just going to give you an overview of what we are going to be doing for this session. So we're going to start with this short presentation where we give you a background on who we are and the project. We will then go into a discussion and Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them afterwards, and online if you have any questions, we're monitoring the chat as well. We think maybe that will be 30 minutes. We can shorten that or make it longer as needed. And then we will go into our open house activities that we will go into more depth later on. So for this presentation, I'm going to tell you who we are, what we know, or the project background, what we already know, and what we want to know from you all today. So who is Boardwalk Studios? We are a group of 6 Master of Planning students at Dalhousie University. For our capstone project before we get our degrees in May, we have this group and for this team. And what our prof did is he asked for requests for proposals from different municipalities, NGOs, and consultants all across Nova Scotia and even New Brunswick. And the 6 of us rated this project either as our #1 choice or very, very high up choice. So we're all very excited and passionate to be working on this project. So my name is Meredith, and I'm joined up here by Ari. And then we also have Mel, who's helping us with the laptop. We have Juicy, Mike, and Yaba back there. And you'll get to know them throughout the event today. We'll be each working at the different stations and are happy to chat about anything. And we've also been working with this municipality of Chester planners, Garth and Emily. They've been super helpful with anything we could need and also giving us tons of great information and contacts about Chester. And also we couldn't do anything without Jen, who is helping out in the live stream right now. So like, I'm emailing Jen like every other day to talk to her about something. So yes, thank you so much for everything you've done so far. It's been really great. And I'll hand it over to Ari now to give you information about our project.
So as I'm sure most of you are already aware, the ferry currently operates between Chester and St. Islands is planned to be moved to Blandford in the next few years. It's a little uncertain when exactly that'll happen, but that's the plan right now. And so what that does is that it really opens up a lot of space at that wharf right now, and it poses this question of what can we do with that wharf in the future. So to that end, our goal for this project is to provide community-informed recommendations and guiding principles for the future of the wharf. And we're going to be providing those to the municipality. And to do that, that's part of what we're doing today is just trying to get your ideas for the future to really make sure that our recommendations are community-led and community-informed. So this is our entire project work plan, and it's going to go until about mid-April. And right now we are kind of right in the middle. We're in phase 3, our engagement phase. That's why we're talking to all of you today. So far we have done our project startup and some background research. So that's really helped us learn a lot about the history of Chester, We've also looked at a lot of the sort of planning policies that apply to the site and things like that, as well as we've been looking at case studies of what other municipalities have done with similar spaces, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well later. So yeah, like I said, this is really a great opportunity, once in a generation opportunity to reuse this wharf for something that could be really great for the community. As we know, we've learned through our research, there is limited public access to the coast, especially for public docking of boats. Currently, the wharf is used primarily by the ferry, of course, but we know that there are a few fishing businesses as well as a tugboat service that operates there. And right now, if you go to the wharf, you will see a lot of signs that say that recreational fishing is not permitted and public docking is not permitted. You need permission to use the wharf.
People still do fishing.
Yeah, we've heard that a lot. And that's something that, it just ties into something that is important to the community, and it's important for us to know about things like that. So these are just some of the planning strategy alignments. So for this overall project, how it aligns with the municipality's overall goals. The municipality does have goals for, parks and open space, especially collaborating with community groups and trying to expand access to the waterfront. They have a goal towards public art and encouraging public art, and that's a possibility for this site, and as well as economic development. And there's different ways we could try to use the word to support that. So this is kind of our big question for today. What we want to know from all of you. We'd love to hear what you think are the current strengths and what you think about the current state of the site. We'd love to know what you think is missing from Chester in terms of infrastructure, activities, or programming. We know that there are a lot of other popular public spaces. So what do you like about them? What do you think we need more of? What do you think we have enough of that we don't need anymore? And then just what do you want for the future of the site? Do you have ideas for what can be done at the Wharf in the future? All right, so like Meredith mentioned, after this presentation, we can kind of all hang out here and just have a discussion, have any questions that you may have. But once that's done, we're going to move into our open house activities. So we've got stations set up for you all. One of them is going to be a conversation station, and that's actually that table right there by the number 2, where people are sitting already, so that's great. We have feedback frames that are at the back of the room. I saw some of you already kind of providing your opinion on those. They're just a few questions about possible uses for the site and just what your opinion is on those, and you can go out and select it. We have a site visioning exercise, which is back there by the number 1 on the left of the room here, or the right of the room for all sitting. And that's going to be that we have these sort of aerial photographs of the site, and you're welcome to kind of play around, provide your ideas. You can write on the maps if you want. You can stick some of our graphics that we have on there. And just let your creativity, just let it loose basically. And then, yeah, we do have some catering from the gym as well. So if you want to grab a snack or a drink, we have some available. At this point, I'll also mention, for anyone, I'm not sure if people have been to the space before, but the ladies' room is back over there. The men's room is over here. If you need an accessible restroom, it's over there. And the emergency exit is back there as well. All right, just some consent information. So we're assuming that by attending this event, you are consenting to participating. And we'll take your ideas and certainly make sure that they're incorporated in the report. We won't be collecting any personal information or any names or anything like that. And if we happen to learn your name, it won't be in the report. We also, we might be taking photos at this event, just to let you know, and currently we are live streaming as well. So, if you don't want your photo taken or anything like that, just let us know. And yeah, we hope that this will be a respectful discussion that we can get some great ideas out of. Yeah, thank you. That's our QR code for our survey if anyone wants to take it. We also have physical copies around the room if you want to take this survey.
So now we can open the floor to any questions you have to ask us, or we can go into the activities if there's no questions. Yes.
Which body initiated this? Is it the municipality or the village or?
So who hired you?
Yeah.
We're Dallas students and our
Yeah.
professor.
No, I knew that, sorry,
Yes.
but I'm wondering who put out the tender to have this project underway.
Maybe I can speak to that. So there wasn't there's not an official tender. This is not work that's being paid for by the municipality. What this was the school had sent out emails to a variety of contacts saying, we are looking for projects for students. Do you have something that might be appropriate? And if so, could you put together a small, and I'll put in quotes, a request for proposals. So I put together sort of a two outline the potential opportunity with the Wharf maybe coming to the municipality in the future, and then the students respond to that. That's something they're interested in. So yeah, so it's not a tendered work in the sense of other kind of procurement official.
So this exercise would following this exercise would be an actual application by the municipality to determine what to do with it. This would be interesting feedback, but there will be an entire RFP around what goes on.
So we don't know what's happening. Like was mentioned, there has been a recent announcement that the Wharf or the ferry is delayed another couple of years. What we and this was the framework that I provided to the students as well. What we expect is that at some point the province will come to the municipality with a proposal or an offer or an opportunity for us to potentially take ownership, and then council's going to have a discussion. Do they want to have ownership? Is it better to have a not-for-profit group form? Like, there's been a variety of ways that work investment has taken place. So all of that is down the road. It's going to happen at some point. We don't necessarily have control over that timeline. So this work is presuming that eventually we will have an opportunity on the site, trying to get some ideas for what the community would like to see there. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry, I'm Dark Servant. My photo's up there earlier. I'm the senior planner with
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
So we're assuming that the municipality is going to buy the Wharf in the surrounding area from the provincial government?
Right. We don't.
Or whatever, to be transferred.
Right. We presume that at some point the municipality will be offered ownership of the Wharf.
So the classification of the Wharf would go from provincial to municipal.
If council accepts it.
If council accepts
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So then there's a whole nother sort of vision of how that Wharf's going to be used, correct? So right now it's fishing, right? And the ferries only, but I mean, right, but if the ferry leaves, who gets to access the Wharf?
So until the ownership changes, the province determines that. So they're the ones that have the signs up right now about no fishing and those kind of things. So,
Okay.
like I said, as far as we understand, when the ferry docks in Blandford, the new ferry docks in Blandford, this will be deemed surplus, and we expect that they will look to divest it. As that's happened in other places, typically the municipality is contacted or offered or
Right.
discussed with first. So in the scope of this project, we set that up saying, presume that the municipality will be taking ownership and do some like essentially visioning exercises for what we'd like to see done with the property. There is absolutely the possibility that council will say, we don't want ownership of the Wharf for a variety of reasons, or that if it's offered to us at a price, the price becomes, you know. So those are all to be had. And I think in a couple of years, whenever that happens, if the municipality does get ownership or has some control over it, we would pull up this work as a great baseline to start the plan for what we want to do with it from there. Is that?
In my view, the key would be to have a minimal lag time there. Otherwise that thing will fall into disrepair and look like crap.
Well, okay.
The province will have no interest in doing anything with it unless there's a specific new use. It'll just fall in disrepair.
Okay, fair enough, and understood. I think for today, what we're trying to do is have a vision community like see with it. And the honest answer to that is we don't, until they're offering it to us, we don't have control of that timeline for what, you know.
What else I was gonna add to that, that's why I think this far ahead, because it'll be at least 2 years before that thing gets moved. Mark my words on that one.
Yeah.
But to get ahead and get some ideas going, I think is great.
And I think this is hopefully getting the conversation started, and if there's some, like, if there's some ideas that come out of this work, and I should say as well that when the students are finished, they're going to be presenting their work back to council in April as well. So council will see all of those findings, and I think that may very well spur those future discussions.
And will there be, sorry, I know,
Yeah,
but will there be some sort of community plebiscite? Community can vote, or will it just be Alan Weber and a few other people who decide what happens?
I can't answer that for you now.
Yeah, because that
I
could be
mean, yeah,
problematic.
there's been no discussion about the plebiscite. Typically, council will vote and make decisions
Right.
about plebiscite, but yeah.
It's really hard to get a.
Assured that council will hear from the people.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm sure there will be engagement, like
Okay.
further engagement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll turn it Did anyone have any other comments?
How about if somebody here starts us off with a brainwave idea that we could build on rather than just go from station to station?
Well, I do have a slideshow of, so I've been doing background research on what other municipally owned wharfs, what they look like as an inspiration. So I have a slideshow that I can show you can,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I can try that.
it's almost like I get explaining some things I learned. I think I just started. This is the park in Bridgewater. We did pick parks that were a similar size to Chester. They received a lot of federal funding. The municipality didn't have to invest in this thing as well. We built benches, that's called a pond, where the this point overlook. We have a lot of musical events, just some artists. They have it usually the summer and fall. This became the day of 2017. See a lot of boats use this site as well. And they have 7 meters of elevation they have to work with as well. This is another site, it is in Brentford. Wharf, very different design. It's a long road that comes into like a dock that comes off the side. And there's a lot of opportunities you can go and boat. Fishers can tie up to this, the dock infrastructure there, as well as private boats using the sailboat here. Pretty beautiful site. Oh my gosh. And there's also whale watching tours that operate from this municipally dock. There's multiple companies that there's different companies that have. And we have the community, this is one way. This is just another angle, so you can have a sense that the one walks are higher and the docks are much lower. Another angle, and they are actually worried about climate change. This work does need a lot of repair. They have federal funding and they're looking at it. Last one is the exit project. They have, this will be the last one. Project. They really want to know the edges, the colors that they want to show. So there's more on the site. And also they do like tools. So if you do something you want to develop for this site. They have this nautical sculpture, so we can talk about the map. We also have raised fall beds, those are those light coaches. We're like thinking of that now. We also have live music, you see people are dancing. This looks like it's an informal event. I didn't see that it was actually a formal event. So far, I still need to dig a little deeper, but hopefully this is some inspiration. I do want to mention that this site also talk a lot about reconciliation. So the name is Reimagine, believe it means a branch. So, it's branching. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. But they also do have a panel talking about the Indigenous history of the site. That may also be something we want to consider for this site when you're looking at some history in Chester. But that's all the information I have. If there's any thoughts or anything you like. Yeah.
I would also add to that, that's great. Sort of a swoop. But we need to look at Halifax. And, you know, it's massive, but they've won many awards for placemaking, I think it's called. I used to own 2 restaurants right on the Halifax waterfront. And I'll tell you, the importance of creating an anchor in that area is critical. Just one more reason, 2 more reasons, 3 more reasons to park your car, walk down, whatever it is. And that's what we do lack in Chester. I was just whispering to these guys is that I think we need to look at what we don't have, which is a lot, and what we really need, and figure out how that spot, arguably the best waterfront location on the South Shore, I must say, and just create something interesting and appealing. Yeah, to keep people, whether it's art, food, booze, whatever, live music,
I definitely agree. I can think of the Evergreen Festival. in
Yeah, so there's
Halifax.
pockets of that whole Halifax waterfront that,
The crowd walk where they painted
Yeah.
things on the sidewalk.
a lot of great ideas that we can borrow.
Yeah, we can definitely take another look at those placemaking links.
Yeah.
I suppose for this research, this was more of kind of a direct comparison for municipal homes rather than something like in that project is Nova Scotia, which has much bigger funding base. Yeah. And
On the public side, like you guys are looking into what can be done, running exercises on that, but just out of curiosity, what kind of research, or are you doing any research on, like, let's say the structural feasibility of that wharf to add into what can be done with it? Can it be used as a podium platform to expand a larger surface area, things like that? Is that stuff you guys are looking into that's gonna come back in the report?
so we are engineers, so I think that would have to be a different specialty. Kirk, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, it's, that isn't part of the scope. It probably would be something at the time when, like I said, when we're offered it, if we are offered it, we have a good assessment to understand what we're inheriting and whether we're inheriting, millions of dollars of work or whether there's a good asset there. So, yeah, but a little bit premature for where we're at just now.
Okay, so what I'll suggest, as I mentioned, is that maybe the thought in the room should be built on the idea that as opposed to looking at just the wharf, if the wharf is, let's call it a structurally stable podium, you could theoretically increase the space that the wharf can provide, the public space. It's a little narrow, but just for the purposes that might be a consideration, as opposed to, like, looking at the zero gravity to allow those ideas to come out of the room.
Yeah, I definitely think there's probably an opportunity where an environmental impact assessment or floating structures could be added to make it a bit longer and maybe more interesting to walk on as well. I mean, obviously, this is just really a creative starting point, and I don't think we need to be limited to the physical structure that's there. Go ahead.
Yeah, the question about art, I'm wondering whether you're thinking of permanent installations or rotating exhibitions, or I have no idea. I like the idea of the illusion of a ship cave.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. That one is a permanent.
That was permanent.
But I imagine you could do a rotating exhibit as well. I know in Halifax and Point Pleasant Park, sometimes they work with the school and art, they'll put art projects in the park, and that rotates every year. So I'm sure there's something that could be done on a more different basis. That's a great place.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cochran. I haven't introduced myself before. It's always, I live not in Chester, and I'm from Halifax. It seems to me that one of the most interesting things about Chester is the fact that it's not really a tourist town, and one gets the feeling that residents don't want to go to a tourist town. Mahone Bay is a tourist town, Lunenburg's a tourist town, Halifax is to some degree is a tourist town. Chester is not really focused as a tourist town. To what degree are the political pressures that put pressure on the councillors going to agree to developing tourism in the city, in the town? I think that is like a fundamental question. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It seems, yes.
May I speak?
Yeah, I haven't quite finished though. Sorry, thank you. So I think that I don't have a stand on that, but it seems to me that, that it's going to have to be, the decisions will have to be made on that level before anything, bringing more people in temporarily or otherwise, done or whatever, will be considered. Like on the real basis, but please.
A number of years ago, Ferry, Montana, engaged Village of Chester Tourism and Development Association, engaged the residents of the village to find out their views with regard to encouraging tourism. And the resounding result of that engagement was, yes, we love to see tourists in our village, but we do not tour buses in our village. And Carrie, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute, but the first thing is, in case you didn't know, for the last 30 to 50 years, Chester is very much a tourist town. It's Americans coming here for extended stays, and it is people passing through. So I'm not going to debate it. But the first thing I think paramount that I want to point out, do what you want to some extent with the wharf, but there's at least at any given time, 3 or 4 fishermen down there. I think any consideration needs to be made to that. Secondly, the launch ramp for the public and also our fire department, that 98% of the year, of all the years I've lived here, is always ice-free. The back harbor where they keep the fire boat sometimes, or over by the lead over they keep it, it gets iced out in the winter. And whether they want to launch their larger boat that they had, or this, I believe they have a smaller one now, a lot of other departments come in, also the RCMP. It's the easiest, and it's fairly central too. We have the Coast Guard there. That floats around depending on basically the government. But years ago, the Coast Guard was here almost every year for a summer seasonal response. So no matter what you do with that wharf, whoever ends up with it, if it's going to be the municipality or a private individual, there needs to be some provision or agreement. I think start at the top with the province now that is a spot for both the emergency and the fishermen, and even recreational fishermen. There's very few places you can go and throw a line in the water if you want a few mackerel or pollock or something. And so, yeah, back to the tourist thing. Yeah, it is a great spot, you know, for the tourists to come, and they love the water. And there's only really one that I'm aware of, one other easy spot, and that's the wharf that the municipality and the village controls over by the Lido.
You.
Me? Yeah. I love, like, if I look at this crowd, 90% of people here have a boat or access to a boat. My son has a boat. Nancy doesn't have a boat. So when you come to Chester, you're thinking, oh, the ocean and everything. And you're kind of like, I wish I could go on. There is no way. So I love the idea of a tour boat that you could go. The nicest way, you know, there's a tourism, and then there's the summer tourism, the summer people who are here. They all have boats, and they are a form of a tourist. They've been coming for over 250 years. But if mom and dad and the kids come down for the day, they can go out in the boat, see the houses, see the golf course. Then they're coming back in for lunch and spending their money. So I think and not everyone lives on the water. Not everyone has access to a boat. And the ferry is an option, sort of.
It's a right one.
But yeah, and you're sort of stuck there sometimes. So I think it would be that would be a super highlight there.
I'm from Kingston, Ontario. We've got the Thousand Islands, so maybe an off-way. Anyways, it's beautiful being on a boat and being able to see the islands. We have so many beautiful islands right here that I'm sure that would be a nice tour to be part of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I find this work's getting really full really fast. So we have our you know, our RCMP and our fire department, and we have fisheries and tourists, let alone kayakers and me and my little boat.
Right.
So I don't know how we're gonna share this work.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's fishermen there that keep their boats there all year long, right? They fish there, that's where they moor up, that's where they unload their fish.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to that?
And
How are we gonna have, how are we gonna,
fingers?
how are we gonna have a recreational area if there's gonna be such a fishing presence? Or are we gonna share spaces? I think it's gonna be a big involvement, right?
Yeah.
And I wanna have more people coming to our village, I want people to stop off more than one block and hop on a tour boat, but, man, I don't see where all these people are gonna go.
I think you're right that the physical space right now probably would support all of those ideas. So I think that would have to be something you think about, well, not me as we, but something the municipality. would
As we
have
go
to
down,
think
I
about.
understand this is fact finding mission, but as we go down the road, this is really important.
Of course.
To all the voters, and Chester is a voting community. And right now, I mean, if a Taco Ferry leaves, there's still, and the people who stay there now, there's still no space to bring up alongside the boat and get off and go for a flat for a drink or go for a walk. So.
But the ferry leaving would clear that whole right side and the front, that's all ferry spots.
Yeah, we've been doing stakeholder interviews, and this is something that we've heard of a few times, and people have been suggesting, like floating docks to add on. And we're just, everything that we recommend is gonna come from these suggestions, so if that's something that we're hearing that the municipality would be useful to let more people use the dock, that's definitely something that we will consider recommending.
Based off my research, it seems like New Brunswick, those two case studies that are on the slides, they do have a lot of floating docks. Because they really did want to support boat activity. They had people from Maine coming to their site, so, yes, I think that's a great.
That's my big take on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I think, sorry, John,
Yeah, you can.
just how we, we think about like shared spaces for different modes of transportation, like you have cars and bike lanes and sidewalks. Maybe that's kind of the approach, where they still be sort of the industrial piece of the work, and then maybe some of these finger docks would be more of the recreational.
And then gets the regulation piece too, I mean, how long are you allowed to stay at the wharf?
Right, and so all of those things need to be,
Right.
yeah.
I'm gonna go stay down.
Yeah, no,
And the transitions from provincial to municipal.
One thing I'd like to add that's listening to some of this too, and in fact, not just fishermen, but I have heard since the ferry change was happening, there's a lot of people from Tancook. There's a gentleman here, probably the deputy mayor of Tancook, if I didn't know better. He might have some information on this, but I think you're still gonna find a lot of Tancook people coming here. It's been historic, maybe out of necessity because of certain business ties. It's closer to Bridgewater than going to Blandford with their own boat. A lot of them will still be, from what I've understood, some of them saying, at least anecdotally, coming here. So it still needs to be some kind of a useful transportation, whatever wharf. And it wouldn't hurt maybe if you did one of these workshops on Tancook to hear their side of the story. And maybe David, my friend David, can speak to that.
Do you have anything to add from this perspective?
Yeah, my name's Dave Baker. I'm the president of the Harbor Authority. We had to take over the work, 25 years ago, so we had to deal with. So it's actually a fishing wharf, and we sublease the pier. And we have to deal with all the parking, all the issues, all the liabilities and all that. And when the pier does leave, we really love to be able to still come up on our boats and support Chester by all means. And it's going to be hard to keep the boat or the wharf itself clear. But now the fishermen are just using the wharf because the province is allowed. Got nothing to do with that, because that's federal. And you might be able to, by allowing the fishermen there, you might be able to offer some small amount of federal money to make it support, because you are going to be, if you do allow the fishermen to stay there.
The dock there, you mean?
Yeah, the dock,
Yeah.
you're like to keep it the inside, but if you keep the whole back open where the pier lays, keep that open for just daytime usage and not tie up, because once you start leaving it there, or say you can leave there for 2 days or something, it'll be full, I can tell you that.
That's
But if you just keep that whole back, the yacht club's got big boats coming in and they want to be able to get to the wharf or take people out and this and that. People coming and going, you'll probably be able to maintain or even.
It's gonna be a busy spot.
It is. It's gonna be
Real busy spot.
A busy spot with
Road
hardly any
and
parking
spots.
area
And someone has to be responsible.
yeah, so I've been to 4 or 5 harbor management seminars and stuff on all the liabilities and stuff like that, their oil spills, all of that. My head is just full. But, and like I say, when you guys get to the point, I wouldn't mind sitting down with you when you guys do take it over, because when the Scotian is not there now, there's a private company using part of the work And they don't, just with, the province is just allowing them to keep that barge there and that stuff, like they're not paying to use it or anything like that there, that's just an agreement or whatever, say here, yeah, you can lay that. Because the Scotian, which is the replacement period that's going around the province, that will actually lay to our wharf on tank. And once that is clear, because they're building another wharf behind our wharf, because our wharf was not structurally sound enough to add on to accommodate this period. So once that wharf gets done, well then the Scotian, which is not there now, will actually lay to our wharf, and the new ferry will lay to the new wharf. And at that point, they will no longer need Chester. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, Tiger.
So I'll just one of the professors I know is Reed Shepherd, who's actually a planner at mobile and also teaches at our school. But the other thing is the students do have an online survey and surveys about all the comments that you guys would want recorded. You can put in that survey, all that information is going to the planners. So that all the things that you're caring about and want to express, make sure you get them into the survey, because then it will go forward to the municipality. The students are trying to carry this out like a real engagement session, not just academically. So just to be aware of that. So all the good points that you're making, you put them down and they'll get forwarded. It won't just end with this project, they get all the information.
Yeah, we're not recording this session like at the moment, like audio recording.
Actually, we are.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use that, but yeah, we have some open-ended questions in which you can put all of your comments and thoughts about everything.
There is, the surveys are at the very back table. So it's past the mapping.
See ones here, right?
Yeah.
That's right, yeah, and it's online as well, you
The
can
QR
access
code.
with the QR code or just go on to the voices and choices.
Yes.
Where will the recording be? People want, is that just something for your own
YouTube.
personal?
No, it's
Okay.
it's on our YouTube channel. We're live streaming. So if you go to YouTube/MODC video, that's where we keep all of our council meetings, sessions, public meetings.
Any last questions before we break out into activities?
I have a question, but it's more maybe directly to some information, but not directly related to this, but does anyone know why the tech ferry is moving to Blandford? Like, is that recorded somewhere? Is this public knowledge?
I'm not sure if a specific reason was given, and there may well be, but I mean, it was an announcement from the current operator, being the province. It's just some of the reasons, and you probably know more than I do, were like shorter trip length, car ferry, and being able to.
Because it's only half the distance. And they need almost half the waterfront here to operate the car ferry.
So there's not enough room for them.
Yeah, there's not enough room.
So it's about.
And also, like, it's 2 hour, yeah, it's a 2 hour trip here, and it's a 20-minute one.
It's an efficiency and get more cars onto Blandford. Is
Yeah.
that the name? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Or actually get more personal.
I'm out to Tango, sorry, not
Yeah.
Blandford, Tango. Okay, thank you.
So you're pro this, you're keen on this? Pardon? You're keen on this?
Yeah. are
Yeah,
you for
there's a
it?
lot of people that's kind of set in their ways, don't want change, but you go back 30 years and we had a gas station, a grocery store, we had a plumber, we had a guy who delivered oil, and all that stuff's gone. You know, you need a well done, you've got to find 6 people to commit to a well and pay $15,000 extra to barge. We haven't had no gravel on our road for 40 years. It cost $60,000 to barge $20,000 for the gravel.
So this is connection, like you bring more gravel, like.
Yeah, we'll have the same theory as the broader on. Yeah, so like even at work in our ward, we put in for dredging, which should have been 175,000. But we didn't have a car here, and it cost us 760,000.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess if we're wrapping up the discussion, we'll just go over what activities we have available again. So we'll be hosting more informal discussion like this at the table right here, session number 2 on the left. Behind where Yaba is, this is doing it right now, we have like a mapping visioning exercise to cut out a bunch of like different
Okay,
activities
yeah.
or programming that
That is what I was- you got it right.
express your creativity that way. And then we also on the back wall here have our
Did it?
feedback
Yeah, no.
box where we're asking a series of questions that you can rate on a liker scale. And it's all anonymous.
But
And
what's-
of course,
sorry, what's that?
sorry, it's like, it says like interested, very interested, interested, neutral, not interested, very not interested, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, we can get going with that. And of course, there's food, refreshments.
Yes, there go coffee and juice sandwiches.